Hi everyone and welcome to Friday Night Live. It's Friday, we're live, we've got our special guests ready in the chat. We've got a few of them joining us through the show as well, but I'm very, very pleased to welcome you to the 12th episode of Friday Night Live. My name's Naomi. If you haven't met me before, I work for NDCYS. NDCYS is the Nottingham Diocesan Catholic Youth Service, and you're very welcome to join us if you're a new viewer. Hello, and first of all, hello to some new viewers that aren't such new viewers. We've got the Aegis family. Hi, Catherine, and the Aegises getting ready for night tea with Friday Night Live. We've got James Noakes and Ruben. Hi, Ruben. How are you doing? Thumbs up. Ruben's little. So hi, Ruben and James. And we've got Elise. And Elise is part of the Brides team. And Elise is joining us this week in the live chat. She's not going to be live in the show, but she's going to be in the live chat, checking in with what people are doing, saying hello to you, responding to your messages, things like that. And I'm going to do something special. And you guys get to witness this now. I'm making Elise a moderator. Oh yeah, Elise, you've just got a notification. She's now a moderator. Can we get a little round of applause for Elise, who is now a moderator? Oh yeah. And we've got Lucy Chapman. Hi Lucy, and Ruby if you're there. If not, Ruby, if you're in bed, hi from another room in your house. But yeah, really special week, episode 12, and we've got some fantastic guests lined up. Now, we're going to say hello to some of them, but before we do that, we've got a bit of a competition to start us off. Not necessarily a competition you'll win a prize for, but a competition that you will win just the victory of knowing you got the answer right. I'm going to put something on the screen, fill the whole page, and it is next week's word of the week. So each week we have a word. This week it's reverence. Hands up if you knew that. Yes, it's reverence. Next week we've got a different word, and that's what next week's challenge will be. So what is next week's word of the week? I'm not going to tell you the word. I'm going to show you a scrambled up version of it and see if you can work it out throughout the show. So here it is. Knee go wild. It looks like knee go wild, but there's your knee hasn't quite gone wild. It's like we'll put it up again. See if you can get it. It's a word similar to maybe understanding. This week it was reverence. See if you can get it. But there we go though. And if you've got it, pop it in the comments. Or if not, you want to, you could tweet us on Twitter at NDCYS, or you could tag us in a post on Instagram at NDCYS. Let us know your answer there. Also on Instagram this week, we have a facility where you can ask us a question. You can ask myself a question. You can ask our guests a question. Just pop it on the Instagram question thing on our stories, and we'll get that asked to our guests. Talking of guests, it's time to meet them. We've got some of them are ready, some of them are joining us soon, but I know that 3 of them are ready and waiting in the green room. So let's say hello to them. So guests, you're on screen now. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So looking at you guys, as many of us will know you, but in case someone doesn't know you, do you want to start us off if you're not on the Brides team? No spoilers.
This is picking on me. So I'm Joe. I'm the lead lay chaplain of the St. Ralph Showing Trust, and normally when I'm on with Tom and Vicky from St. Thomas Aquinas and Our Lady of Lords, and I'm the one who is normally outside, but I've been allowed inside today. It's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, that is good. You're inside. Woo! Round of applause for you being inside. So hi Joe. How's your week been? Been good or?
Yeah, it's been quite good. I've got to say, I'm really good. The weather's changed because I've really enjoying kind of like getting out and walking, running, and stuff like that. But it's been like quite nice to just not get blinded by the sun when I'm trying to work at my computer because I set up facing the window, which wasn't the best of the idea.
Yes, very true. I mean, yeah, it got pretty rainy the other day, didn't it, June? It was a meeting or a live stream. I can't remember which one it was, but it was pretty rough weather. So I'm glad you're inside. Brilliant. Okay, so over to the other 2 people who I gave it away. You're on the Brides team. Oh gosh, I don't know how to, just one of you go first. I don't know how to introduce you without giving it away, giving your names away.
I'll let the person go first.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm Tabitha. Hello.
Hey Tabs. So Tabitha, whereabouts are you at the moment? I didn't ask Joe that, I forgot actually. But Tabs, where are you? Because you're on the Brides team. The Brides is in Derbyshire. Ooh, exciting. The Brides is in Derbyshire, but whereabouts are you now, Tabitha?
Okay, I feel like you're suggested. I was going to say in my bedroom, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah, no,
as in-
I'm in Hull, if anyone knows where that is. So that's far off in Yorkshire.
yeah. Hull, yeah, Hull or Hull, as you'd
Hull.
say if you were
Yeah,
from Hull.
sorry, yeah. I don't have an Hull accent, but that's how
No.
you guys.
But yeah, you're up in Hull. We've got more guests have joined us as well. So we'll say hello to everybody. We've got Luke. Do you want to go? Oh, I gave Luke's name away. Luke.
No, that's right.
Luke, do you want to tell us briefly what your name is? I've already told everyone where you are at the minute.
Hello, guys. My name's Luke. I'm also on the Brides team, and I'm currently in a very, very wet Mansfield.
Oh, Mansfield, yes. It's lovely though. Lovely, friendly place.
Yeah,
I love it.
okay.
I love Mansfield. Yes, great Morrisons, I've heard.
Yeah.
Very good Morrisons.
Very
Great
good
staff.
places. But other supermarkets are available.
Yes. Well, yes, that's a good point. We shouldn't endorse one specific supermarket. And our guest who's just joined us, we've got two other guests, but it's Bishop Patrick. Hello, Bishop Patrick.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing?
Fine.
I gave your name away. Sorry, I've been letting people introduce themselves, but I just gave your, and it's been on Twitter as well. So I feel like maybe it's not much of a spoiler.
Okay.
But would you like to tell us, introduce yourself and tell us where you are, and maybe if you've been up to anything in particular this week you want to start off by letting us know about?
Okay. It's good to be with you all. Had a little bit of a rush trying to get the link. So I'm in the chapel using a very old computer. But anyway, it's good to be linked in with you all. It's been quite a full week, really. It amazes me the number of Zoom meetings that people need during this time of lockdown. Probably the most significant thing for me, and I think for everyone watching and all of us on your panel tonight, is the news that we can reopen our churches. And so I look forward to talking about that now or at a later time.
Absolutely, yeah. It must have been a big week for you as bishop as well, I imagine. And I know all the priests in the diocese have been very busy because it was kind of unexpected. I know I saw it I think I actually saw it on your Twitter first, Bishop Patrick, but via a friend up here,
Yeah.
Sophie Taylor, who's watching, shout out to you,
Yeah.
who said, oh, Bishop Patrick's just tweeted this. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And then the BBC, in that order,
Yeah.
I saw the BBC released it. Yeah, and then the Catholic Bishops of England and Wales in that. Yeah, it was quite, I found it unexpected, but yeah, big news.
Strange just watching the news, and I heard it and I thought, my goodness. And so I tweeted and I thought I could be first here with this news, which is nice.
It seems like you were.
And I wanted to be because, I mean, I can only speak of my own diocese, but I know that so many people are getting and have been frustrated now. It's going on and on and on. We understand why, but I think collectively we all miss going to our parishes, reuniting with the people we know and love there, and being able to celebrate the Mass and the other sacraments. That's true of the priests. It's certainly true of me. This would have been a busy confirmation time up and down the diocese, and I really do miss it. So when I heard that, I thought, right, I must get this tweet out because I want to give some good news to the people of the diocese. And so I was amazed. I haven't kept up, but I think thousands of people have retweeted it or liked it or something, which is the highest number for any tweet by a mile that I've ever put out. So I'm quite proud of that, really.
Yeah,
And
you
so,
should be.
And so this week has been trying to see what we can do to make our response to the measures that the government require and Public Health England, in terms of the stewarding we need to get people into church and out safely, all the hygiene requirements that are there, and also the social distancing. So it's going to limit it a little bit, the number of parishes that can quickly open on Monday or this coming week. But sort of doing all I can to try and whittle the requirements down to make it a little bit more manageable for priests and for the volunteers. And there's a great team of people in the Curia doing their best. All the advisors are getting in there. So please God, we will at least have the cathedral open on Monday. And that's my cue to say a big, big thank you to lots of young adults. And I know, Naomi, you've played a part, and I see Joe has played a part, and others too have played a part of the Briars in trying to encourage and promote young adults who are volunteers in their parishes to rally around, in this instance of the Nottingham area, the cathedral, so that we can get one large church in a prominent place where people do pass by regularly, open to welcome people. So that's good news, and without the that support of young adults, we wouldn't, and Canon Malachy wouldn't be in the positive position that he is this evening in terms of volunteers. There's still paperwork to be sorted out, and all that bureaucratic but necessary side of things. But big thank you through you, this channel tonight, to those young adults who have offered their services. I think just quickly on that, as people think, oh, I could offer too. It's a two-stranded thing, and I'll stop talking really. That those who are already volunteers in their parishes, that's much more straightforward. If you're not a volunteer in your parish, you are welcome, and please do offer your service to the cathedral or to your nearest church. But there is a necessary safe recruitment process to go through. And those involved in that, I'm assured, will respond to the forms as quickly as they can. And I know that some people will be working throughout the weekend to process things as quickly as they can. And I'm very, very grateful to those Curia people as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're all grateful as well, I suppose, because that what you've highlighted there is that it is a collective effort, isn't it? It's not down to the priests themselves, although they have leadership and responsibility for parishes in bigger areas as well. It's down to the laity, and I suppose especially for me and I know the Briars team as well, and you as well, Joe, being lay people, it's kind of I don't want to say our time to shine, but it's it's a great opportunity to step up and to be able to do something, especially when a lot of the volunteers who would normally be volunteering in parishes, let's be honest, are maybe older and more vulnerable.
Yeah.
A lot of them are,
and
it's a great...
And we do want to protect those people because their hearts, whatever their age, their hearts remain so generous, but we do need to protect them. So it is the time, very much. It's always the time for younger people to come forward, but particularly this time. And I'd say to all young adults, particularly those who are volunteers, please do what you can to help out your local parish or a neighbouring parish that's ready to go but just needs those few more stewards.
Definitely. I know I saw some posts from Scunthorpe as well. Canon Jeffrey was posting today saying the same thing, and Sacred Heart Leicester. So if you're in, I know for definite either Scunthorpe or Leicester, there's parishes looking for volunteers. Very exciting though. I know when I saw the news, it was kind of felt like Christmas. I don't know if it's probably just me, but I was like, oh wow, because it was quite late at night, wasn't it? And I was like, yes, open again. But yeah, we've got a few topics to go through this week because that's kind of been a big topic of the week. And what I've done is picked 4 hashtags that have been trending this week, but actually only 3 of them have been trending, so that's a bit confusing. But I've got 4 hashtags. Hello. 4 hashtags, and 3 of them have actually been trending this week, and one of them has been popular news this week but has not been a trend officially. Hi, we've got another guest. Hello. Oh, I think your microphone's off. I think we've got a mic. Oh, there we go. No? Oh no! I think we still don't have any sound. Oh no, we don't have any sound. We'll work on that. Some of the team might have some suggestions they could give, potentially. or Google. But what we'll do whilst we're sorting this out, because we've got more guests, Bishop Patrick's gone as well. Oh, sad times. But we've got some other things. What I'm going to do is put the word that's next week's word of the week back on our screen so you can have a look at it, see if you know what it is. We've got a few suggestions in the comments already. Amazing stuff. Like I said, if you know what this word is, pop it in the comments. It's next week's word of the week, and the theme next week will be based on the challenge. So I think we're still working on some technical issues. We're back to 3 guests. So 3 guests, hello. Like I said, we're going to put up some of the hashtags we've had this week. So we've got 4 topics to chat about. First things first, though, I'll ask you to tell me if you think this has been an actual hashtag, an actual trend this week or not. Remember, 3 of the 4 are trending things this week. And again, if you're watching at home, please write in the comments if you think it's a trend or not a trend or no trend. Question 1 up here is trends of the week, hashtag PS5. So PS5, do we think trend or no trend? What do you think?
I'm going to sound really old here. I did not realise there was a PS4.
Oh, really?
Over there, yeah. Yeah, I'm that guy.
I never had a PS4.
Oh, God.
So.
Yeah, it's like, anybody a big fan of Sega Mega Drive? It's a good system.
Yeah. Wait, Nintendo Wii. I mean, underrated console. I'm just saying. But yeah, what do you think? Trend or not a trend?
Trend.
I'm going with Luke.
You'll see.
I've always in life trust Luke Potter. Really.
Do you know, I've got a funny feeling it is a trend.
Hi, Bishop Patrick, back.
Ran out of power.
Oh, you ran out of power? Oh, no.
Everything going wrong tonight.
Oh, honestly, you should have seen my 2 home time hangout earlier. I had no voice, and then something went wrong with my screen. It happens, you know. We're actually talking a little bit about technology at the minute. What I was saying earlier, I've got 4 hashtags that may or may not have been hashtags trending this week, and this one we've just gone to is hashtag PS5. Any thoughts? I mean, Luke's gone trending. You think it was a trend? Joe, you going with Luke?
I'm going with Luke.
Yeah. Yeah. Tabitha, what about you?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard anything about it, but that's probably because I deleted my Twitter like a fool. So, I want to say I'll play devil's advocate and say no, just so.
Okay, cool. Bishop Patrick, any thoughts? Do you think you're quite big on Twitter, aren't you? Like you said, you've got thousands of. Have you seen anything about PS5 trending this week?
Not a thing.
Not a thing. No, not amongst your followers. Well, I have to. Ooh, should I confirm now or should I say at the end? I'll say at the end whether you were right or wrong. But Luke, you seem pretty sure that PS5 was a hashtag.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about? Are you a fan? Is that why you think it was? Or
yeah.
What is a PS5 first of all? Would you like to tell anyone who's watching who isn't sure of what that is?
Yeah, I have seen something in the news about it and it being released pretty soon. So I have been following that news, but I know they did postpone it due to something else that went on this week as well, actually.
Yeah.
You think they would have wanted to get it out early in lockdown for a huge amount of sales, really?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. A games console in lockdown is exactly what people are probably looking for. I mean, personally, not really, but you know, and it proves that Bishop Patrick, you've got your YouTube channel. You know, that's gone off with flying colours, and Joel, you've got your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, I gained 110 followers. I've got to say.
Yeah, I mean, people are hungry for technology, though, aren't they? Like, it's so true, and you're right. Almost releasing it near the end of lockdown, it seems a bit counterproductive. But yeah, the PS5 was released. I think it was released this week, was it? Oh, I'm not actually sure of the news, but I know it was trending. So Luke, you were right. It was a trend, and because it's got a really swish design as well. It's really like swishy and cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say the difference, like. What's the difference between a PS4 and a PS5? Is it just the number, or?
I won't get started. But...
Luke likes it like he's ready to go into detail.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, if you do a presentation for next week's show, Luke, that'd be brilliant on the difference between a PS4. I only know that there's a PS5 because I know someone who got a PS4 last year, and it is pretty good. I played on Sims once. I tried to build the Briars. Fun fact. Yeah, it was pretty good. I got hair run nearly done. Lower ground floor. Yeah. Anyway, it's a long story. Anyway, so that's trend 1. We've got 3 more then. That could be trends or could not be trends. We'll go to the next one and see what we think. The next one, trends of the week. #Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely.
Trend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, are we saying
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
it's trending this week?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Well.
I think so. Anyone got anything you've learned from this? Because I think, people have had many different responses to it. Some have been really vocal, some have been creating images. I know from NDCOS we've got 2 videos. We've got Father Jonathan shared a video with us last week, which was really useful. Tom shared a video making sense of it all. That was the theme of his video, and I've been putting out kind of images and visuals because we're quite into visual communication, and I think that's it is a thing to be able to communicating through images and pictures that help us to learn through that. So that's what I've been doing in response to it as well. So I don't know, has anyone had an individual response first of all, or something you've learned or will do soon in response to that?
There was a protest in Hull in I can't remember the day, like 2 days ago, and it absolutely tipped it down. So that was fun. But that was kind of it was very moving and very powerful to see everyone there, and also to hear, because obviously I don't think I'm probably not the best person to be talking about this subject, but to hear all the sort of first-hand accounts from because they had people doing speeches and stuff, and talking about. So that we had a case in Hull in the 90s of police brutality that was really bad to do with Christopher Adler, and his sister spoke, and it was it's just incredibly moving and incredibly it was the whole sort of message and takeaway from it was they're saying, we don't want you to just come to this protest, we want you to go away and call people out if they're being racist, and sort of take action, which I think is the whole sort of message behind the movement. So I think that's probably something I could do more potentially.
That's it. It's people have been saying it's not to just not be racist, it's to be anti-racist, which is a different thing. It's one thing to know that something's wrong, it's another thing to do something about that injustice, and to actively stand against it. Because there was one quote, I can't remember the exact words, but if you don't stand against it, you're naturally for it, because in doing nothing you support the people who are doing the thing. But yeah, anyone else? The great thoughts, Tabs, as well. Thank you. And I know it's sometimes can feel difficult to talk about it, but nothing really I find that is easy to talk about is what I'm trying to say. It's things that make you feel a bit nervous and on edge are often very important to talk about.
Yeah. It's very important to talk about it. I just felt I don't know, I'm probably not the best spokesperson of but anyway, yeah, go on.
But no, thank you. Yeah.
The thing that really shocked me was from my friend from school and university on Facebook who'd kind of experienced racism, and how regularly they'd experienced it. It was the same a few years ago when the kind of Me Too movement started. A lot of my female friends who'd experienced sexual harassment, and it was just really being treated differently because they're a woman, and the same my friends who are black or mixed race or from a variety of backgrounds saying about a different way they've been treated. It really surprised me because I hadn't seen that when I was with them, but so it was just kind of wow, I didn't realise that this is how people are treating each other, and I felt quite stupid, to be honest. In some respects, I'm what? But not that I didn't think racism was ever a problem, but I just, when you hear it's happening to your friends as well, it makes an extra level of realism. I think we're quite used to hearing of bad things happening far away on the other side of the screen when we see the news. In the same for when you hear it's how can this actually happen in Derby, where I'm from, where it's kind of this is sort of to grow up in, but it's really that's the biggest thing I've learned, really, is that it's not something that's on the screen, it's something that's far away, it's something that's in every community. And you think wow, it's I'm just amazed and appalled by it all, really.
It is. It's shocking, isn't it? I think that's the thing that hit me first of all, was that, oh, this is real and local, very real, very local. Yeah. Any other thoughts from people? I mean, don't worry. We've got, the good thing is, I suppose, this conversation will will continue. It's not the first week that this was trending, and it's not the last. And the conversation could definitely continue.
I think maybe in terms of trying to change attitudes, there'd be two places, I would think immediately of. The first is the family, because we learn so much about ourselves, about relationships, about the other, especially if the other is in some way different from us. And it's a great place for learning not to fear the other or the one who seems different to us. So, that's one of my reflections, really, how important that early training and formation in the way that we think and look at others, springs from our relationships in the family and the things that we're taught there, especially respect, not just tolerance, that's far too weak. Respect for the other, especially if the other is different in some way. And my second thought, of course, is to our schools and the good work that is done there along these lines, very much of respecting the other and respecting somebody who may be different to us in appearance. So those are two strong places that I would look to, really, to bring about a change in attitude. I mean, my starting point, it's a fairly obvious starting point for me, for us, is that we are all made in the image and likeness of God. And no matter how different the other may be to us, I would, want to see the image of God in every person. That would be my starting point. And therefore, the necessary respect that I must give to the other. If I expect respect from others, then I must show respect. And I would want to put the emphasis on always taking the initiative and showing respect to the others. If it isn't reciprocated, well, we have done exactly the right thing. And hopefully, gradually, attitudes of heart and mind will change. I think it's so sad that yet another example of a black person dying has raised our awareness again. But please God, this will not just be something that touches us for a few days or a few weeks, but I think, as you said, Naomi, that we continue to speak about this, talk about this, and where it exists, try to gently but firmly call it out.
Definitely, that I think you're absolutely right, and I love what you said there about, I don't know what your exact words, but I know your motto is it seek the face of Christ, and it's when we look at someone, that should be the first thing that we do, and if we start there, that's an amazing place to start from, but also to have when we have conversations as well with people, to seek the face of Christ and to seek goodness in those. Gosh, it's a big discussion. We'll move on to some other things, but we can by all means come back to this as well. So we're all saying that was a trend this week, and it absolutely was. Definitely was. The third potential trend this week was this. Trends of the week, # reopening of churches. Ooh, okay. So we've chatted a bit about this already, but was this a major trend this week on Twitter?
I've got to say, a lot of my kind of things I follow on Twitter are mainly either Catholic things or Derby County related. So I didn't see Derby tweet it, but nearly everybody else I follow on Twitter did. So I'm going to go with trending.
Cool. What about everyone else? What do you think?
I think I would go with this one.
Yeah.
Luke would make a great team.
I think. Seeing it on Twitter, I know not quite a lot of accounts that I didn't expect to tweet about it did actually tweet about it. So I think it is I think this week it was a trend.
Tabitha, Bishop Patrick, what do you think?
Yeah, I know. I was gonna be like saying no just because I do think it. I hope it's a trend anyway. Like, yeah. I mean, like the fact that it's like come out so recently makes me think that it might have been trending this week. Yeah.
I think I'm with you too. I don't know, but I hope it is.
Well, from my own research, this didn't really trend. I don't know if I was putting the wrong words in, but yeah, shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
It left me thinking two things. I thought, I wonder if it's just because, like you said, Joe, a lot of the people I follow are Catholic, not so much Derby, more of a Sunderland FC fan myself.
Oh, that's a penance.
I know. Oh, don't. Yeah, tell me about it. It's inherited. It's not of choice. I thought, is it because a lot of my friends are Catholic? Is it because I'm really interested in it? Is it Twitter, putting forward tweets that are relevant to my life?
I wonder if it's maybe people not using the hashtag as well.
I know, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And it maybe was a different hashtag. But it wasn't, maybe did trend, but lower down than the other four. I've given away the final one now. But yeah, so it was big news this week though, wasn't it? Big news. We've chatted a bit about it already. But Joe, you set the weekly challenge this week, didn't you, for all the schools out there, people at home, to prepare a prayer space in their home or school, which I think is great because church is always open. Church has never really been shut because we are the church, but the buildings were shut. But when we have the prayer spaces in our home, and even at the same time as the church is opening, that's big, isn't it? That's so cool because we've got double church. We've it's expanded it. It's got all sorts of avenues in people's homes and schools now. How did you find setting the challenge? What was your kind of motivation behind it?
Well, I think it came from, I'm not sure if we've from a couple of our chaplains when we had our first meeting just before before the official lockdown when the schools were closed, and we were talking what we're going to do, and we came up with different ideas for videos to do during the week. And we talked about it would be great to try and do liturgy at home. And some of the pupils at English Martyrs in Long Eaton, I know a few of them are watching, who were either at home shielding or things like that, were still creating liturgies there. And I thought, well, maybe we could do something like Holy at Home. And from the other chaplains, Will came up with who's at Blessed Robert, St Edward's and Holy Rosary, came up with the idea, and formerly of the Brides, came up with the idea of doing a couple of pencils and an elastic band to make a cross. And then I think it was Helen, who's the chaplain at English Martyrs, who said, why not use whatever we can get clothes-wise for the different coloured liturgical colours that we might use. And I was like, this is brilliant, we've got a plan coming together. So it's amazing. Something we've done a few times.
Yeah, it was so good. And I love that actually you gave people examples, like using a t-shirt as a prayer cloth, for colour, for liturgical colours and stuff, green or red or white, and using pencils and stuff, and using things in our own home. We don't have to go out and buy like a crucifix or buy something big and special to use in our prayer spaces. It can be really simple. It doesn't have to be really complicated.
Absolutely, something we talked about. We're saying, because I grew up at home, we've got a religious image everywhere. I'm sure they've left statues in my mum's house, more statues in my house than the Vatican. But we thought not everybody have this at home, and we wanted everybody to be included in what we did. And so we thought, how can we do it in the easiest way possible? Because the first churches didn't have that at first, so they dreamed about to have the church we have now, but they kind of made it work, and for the situation we're in.
Absolutely, they did. If you want to see, if you're watching at home, if any of you guys want to see the contributions we had, we show them in the Home Time Hangout at 2:30 on Fridays. So that's been broadcast already today. So if you look back, you can see all the different things people sent in. There was loads from Mansfield actually, Luke. Which primary school did you go to?
I would say Patrick.
Loads from St Patrick's. Yeah, they were doing stuff outdoors. They had pebbles in a circle, prayer spaces. They made crosses out of twigs. It was so good.
They always pull it out of the bag. St Patrick.
They do, yeah. But it was great. It was great. Okay, so we're going to move on to the fourth and final topic of this evening's show. Can you believe it's 25 to 7 already?
Oh wow!
Okay.
The fourth and final topic. I know. Was this trends of the week #Saint Barnabas? Ooh.
I'm not sure now after the first one, the last one going through. It was his feast day though. on Thursday.
It was, yeah. Yesterday, yeah.
I feel like by process of elimination, it has to be trending.
Oh, we're the only one not trending. Oh, thanks, Dab. I'm going to go.
I don't know what I thought I'd given it away, but yeah. Yeah, St. Barnabas was trending. Can you believe it? Over
That's brilliant.
reopening of churches. But I was more shocked by this than the fact that reopening of churches wasn't. St. Barnabas was trending.
Oh.
Big news. Yeah.
Big Barney.
I suppose for us, he's Big Barney. He's our cathedral in Nottingham. It's called St. Barnabas Cathedral. So that's another reason I thought maybe it's just because I'm local in Nottingham. Apart from Tabitha's not Middlesbrough Cathedral, or for you in Middlesbrough Diocese. Shout out to Middlesbrough. What's yours called, Tabs?
What's that?
What's your cathedral called again? In Middlesbrough? I can't remember. If anyone,
I've
quiz
been-
I want to say
questions, put it in
St.
the comments.
Joseph.
Abbey and modern and stuff, but like I don't actually live in
It is-
Middlesbrough.
It's big, isn't it? It's like flat, like kind of.
Yeah, it's like huge, and it's sort of like one of those sort of weird. Well, not like weird, but like it's not very old, so it's kind of like
Yeah, it's more modern.
yeah.
Put it to the people on the chat. Right, what viewers at home, tell us what is the name of Middlesbrough Diocesan Cathedral? It's in Middlesbrough.
The representative.
Of course it is.
Hull is in Middlesbrough Diocese.
Quick Google. St. Mary's, like nearly every
St.
cathedral.
Bishop.
St.
Huh?
Mary's.
Yeah.
So that's what my school was called. So
Oh, cool.
like it's not.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Big shout out to the 4 St. Mary's of our trust as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Anyway, I digress. So right, hashtag St. Barnabas. Our cathedral's called St. Barnabas. Oh yeah, people are commenting now. St. Mary's. Thanks, Sophie. I knew you would know because fun fact. We're like an East Coast collection here because I'm in Hexham and Newcastle, though I work for Nottingham Diocese, obviously. I'm from Hexham and Newcastle, which borders Middlesbrough Diocese all the way down to Hull,
Yeah.
which borders Nottingham Diocese.
Yeah.
We need someone from, what's the next one down? East Anglia?
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
Say,
And then
Or-
Brentwood after that.
Brentwood.
If my thing for mastermind, like I'm really annoying my wife when we drive around the country. I'm like, we're now entering the diocese of.
Yes. Salute the bishop. No. Yeah, it's like a little trivia thing, isn't it? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, does anyone know anything about St. Barnabas?
I feel like I did, and it's no.
He's from Cyprus.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's from Cyprus, and he good friend of Saint Paul, and his name means son of encouragement. So encourage, like for quite a nice thing. I think of how he encouraged the early church and encouraged Saint Paul while he really kind of like mentored him and set him on his way. So I think a lot of the amazing things that we've got to thank Saint Paul for, we've got to thank Saint Barnabas for as well.
Yeah, because he was around the same time as Paul, and is he known as Joseph?
Yeah,
Is that someone else?
that's
Yeah.
all the best people
Oh
are.
yes, knowledge. Did some research earlier in the week. You know when you kind of half know something, you're like, oh, I don't want to say it because I think it might be wrong. But I would encourage anyone thinking that to just say it and have a go. And if you get it wrong, then someone will kindly correct you. Bishop Patrick, welcome back again.
Lost connection.
It's all right. Don't
Bad
worry.
evening.
We've all had rocky times on Zoom calls, I think, in the past. We're just chatting about the final hashtag of this week's show, hashtag St. Barnabas, which was a trend this week. Can you believe it?
That's good.
Yeah. And I know you were celebrating Mass at St. Barnabas Cathedral yesterday, weren't you?
That's right, that's right.
Have you got any fun facts about St. Barnabas? Or anything, significance of... I mean, I don't personally know the history of why St. Barnabas Cathedral is called St. Barnabas Cathedral. Or I don't know if anyone does.
That's two of us.
Yeah, we'll have to Google it. Again, another question for our viewers at home. Why is St. Barnabas Cathedral called St. Barnabas Cathedral? Let us know. But yeah,
I think it's a great patron saint. I'm not sure what Joe was saying there. Probably said all this, but he was Joseph, of course, and given the name by the other apostles, Barnabas, son of encouragement. So clearly, it represented something of his character, his personality. And it's a great quality, I think, to be a man or woman who encourages and draws out that which is best in the other person, because very often it sometimes takes another person to say, you're really good at that. Why don't you develop that skill? And I know certainly I benefited from teachers who encouraged me. So I'll always be grateful to teachers because I think they are the best teachers are true encouragers. But I think that should be true of us all. And certainly, why was he sent to Antioch by the apostles? I mean, Antioch was one of the young churches, a very fledgling group of Christians there. And in fact, it was in Antioch that the people who followed Jesus came to be known as Christians. So it sort of suggests to me that they were trying to model their lives very much on Jesus Christ, his attitudes, his values, the gospel values. And so there in Antioch, they got the name. But why Barnabas? Why was he sent there to sort of check it out and see whether they were living the lives as they're meant to be? Presumably because he was a character who could sense where God was at work, where the Holy Spirit was at work. So he's a fascinating character. And I, for one, am really pleased that the cathedral bears his patronage as a saint. I feel a bit embarrassed that I don't know why the cathedral was called after St. Barnabas, but those would be my good reasons. Anyway.
That's a good question, because like the chapel that was in the centre of Nottingham before they built the cathedral wasn't called St. Barnabas. I think it was called St. Peter's. Very interesting.
Yeah. It is interesting, isn't it? I often wonder why churches are called different things. And my local church up here, I mentioned on Monday, is called Our Blessed Lady Immaculate, but it's known as St Mary's, which is fair enough. But it was built, when a lot of people moved from Ireland for the steelworks. The church, there was only one church in the local area, and it was way up. It's still there, up the hill. So they built another one, and then we ended up with like 5 in the local area, which is pretty cool. But it was built, I'm not sure how many years ago it was. Maybe, I don't want to say in case it's wrong, 150. I think it was 1857. Maybe it was built. Anyway, it's pretty old, but it was named like with my ancestors around it. Like my great grandparents would have been here when it was built because they moved from Ireland for the steelwork. So it's pretty cool to like think, who did they have like a suggestions box or like, did my grandma name the church? I don't know. But it's interesting to think about why things are it's interesting to think of why things are named certain things, and ourselves, I suppose, as well. Okay, well, so that was a hashtag. So of the 4 of them there, sadly the one that wasn't hashtagging and trending was reopening the churches. But it's definitely a big thing. Yes, let's get it trending, everybody. Hashtag reopening of churches. We've got a load of shout-outs to give, and then we'll say goodbye if you guys want to give any shout-outs as well to the viewers. And then we've got the message from Father Jonathan Cotton on the Feast of Corpus Christi, which is on Sunday. Very exciting. And, a day where we'd normally be, and Father Jonathan says this, I'm not stealing his words, we'd normally be like really focusing on receiving the Eucharist and receiving the body of Christ, but Father Jonathan's prepared a bit of a reflection for us to end the show with. But like I said, a few shout outs. We've got a load. I didn't see the chat was going so wild. We've got people saying what next week's word is. Yeah, so it was, I'll put it on the screen again so you can see it at home if you want a final bash of that. It's KNEEGOWLD. What could that be jumbled up to spell?
I've got
it. Anyone? Any of you guys got it? Did you get it there, Tabs?
Is it knowledge?
It is. It's knowledge. Yes. So next week's word of the week is knowledge. You've got great knowledge of letters. So a few people got it right there, and yes, a few people right. We're following a kind of theme of gifts of the Holy Spirit for now, and so we've got we might have understanding the week after. I don't know. I don't want to give it away. But oops. But yeah, we've got Mrs. Lund saying hello from not so sunny Mansfield. Mrs. Lund, hi Claire. We've got the Aegis family saying knowledge. They're guessing that word. And Catherine A just saying, I'm with you, Joe. Tekken was my fave. Yeah. That was actually from Jamie, not Catherine. But Elise is there asking some good questions as well. Yes, we love the SRS YouTube channel. Yes, shout out to you. Yeah, SRS. And then Colette's saying, sorry she can't join us. She's got some technical issues. We will get you back on a different week. Don't worry. Who else have we got? All Saints Chaplaincy, Vicky Mullen saying hello, enjoying the chat. Just saying hello to everyone. So hi
Hello.
Vicky. Matt, she's your chaplain as well, Luke, wasn't she?
Hello, was it?
Yeah.
Vicky.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's written later on Luke All Saints family. Brilliant stuff. And we've got Sophie saying at St Mary's Cathedral. Friend of Paul, St Barnabas is a friend of Paul, and he sold all his possessions and gave the money to his community. Amazing. Oh, maybe could it be linked to Robin Hood? No, is that a silly connection to make? Because he's. I think I've made a silly connection.
I love the way your mind works, Naomi. That's incredible.
Was Robin Hood even from Nottingham? I don't.
Lincoln, I think.
Not
really.
being not from Nottingham. I just follow whatever people say about Robin Hood because I'm too afraid to make a comment. In case I get it wrong, you know. And then big shout out to the First Communion kids, Our Lady of Assumption, Beeston.
Woo,
yes,
that's
shout out to you guys. There would have been so many people making their Holy Communion at the minute, especially in the Feast of Corpus Christi around that time. So yeah, shout out to you guys. I was thinking back to my own. I would have been absolutely gutted if it had been postponed. And I'm sure they are too. And Elise saying, well done everyone. Yeah, having the knowledge to figure out that quiz. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. If you guys got any shout outs or final comments to make, then we'll wave goodbye to everyone, and then we'll put on Father Jonathan.
Put me in a bit of a pickle. There's so many people I can pick from. I just want a big shout out to all our schools, as always. Thank you so much to everyone who signed up to volunteer in your parish or at the cathedral, for everyone in the churches, and to everyone who's joined us tonight.
Thanks. Yeah, shout out to everyone. Nice to hang out together.
Cover all bases that way, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Any other shout outs from people?
I mean, he won't be watching, but I'll do a shout out for my our local priest, Father Anthony, at St Anthony's Church, which is ironic in itself. But he's been doing he's been doing masses like non-stop. He's been doing masses in English. He's been doing them in Indian. And he
cool.
he at the end of each one he stands there and claps his hand and sings along, and makes my week. So
that's so good. Is he on YouTube?
He Facebook Lives, so Anthony James.
Oh, yes. I might give them a follow. Have a look. That sounds really good. It sounds really uplifting, which is it's really good to be uplifted, isn't it, at the minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any Luke, Father Bishop Patrick, Father Patrick. In fact, you haven't been called Father Patrick in a while, Bishop Patrick. Sorry.
No,
oh dear, Bishop Patrick even.
Just to everyone watching, particularly those who, as was mentioned, we've got the lovely feast of Corpus Christi on Sunday. I'm sure everybody misses greatly being able to get to Mass and receive our Lord in Holy Communion. So big heartfelt thought and prayer to everyone on those lines.
Yeah, definitely. Thoughts and prayers from us as well. Definitely echo that. Thank you, Luke. Any shout outs to give?
Shout out to my mum. I know she's watching. Just all
Alex, mum.
Really, all my team and all my mates from Mansfield as well.
Yeah, you'll have to get them watching this, Luke.
I will,
They'll love it.
I will do. I'll get them watching this.
Get your mates from Morrison's on.
The last thing I do.
Get your mates from Morrison's on as well. Yes. And he wants to visit Luke. But yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Bishop Patrick, especially as well. I know you've had a really busy week, and you had the mass that was live streamed for the whole country last night. I mean, it's always live streamed for the whole world, but it was, for the NHS, and a lot of people tuned in, and it must have been quite. I know I would. Not that I've ever said mass, but I would feel. It seems like quite a lot of pressure to be doing that. So you've had a really busy week, I suppose. So thank you so much for giving your time on a Friday evening. Really appreciate it.
I've got a Zoom meeting coming up with a few bishops, so I'm going to leave you at this stage anyway. But thank you for inviting me. It's been good fun. Thank you.
No, it's been great fun, yes. In fact, we'll all say goodbye now because we're going to hand over to Father Jonathan. So, it's goodbye from us, everybody at home. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
describe it. So, for example, we might say the Eucharist, or the Blessed Sacrament, or the Host, or the Bread of Life, or Holy Communion. And there are other words too.
Hi everyone, sorry about that. We didn't have any audio for Father Jonathan there, so we'll just pop him back on from the beginning. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Hello, I'm Father Jonathan, chaplain to the Briars, and I'm in our little prayer room here in Nottingham in Our Lady in St Edward's Church. Well, our annual feast of Corpus Christi is upon us once again, and I want to tell you about a special prayer which I think you'll find very helpful during this time of the coronavirus when we can't go to Mass or receive Holy Communion. Now, the word Corpus Christi, it means the body of Christ. It's Latin. And this feast day is designed to celebrate that Jesus really becomes present in the bread and wine of Mass by the power of the Holy Spirit. When the priest consecrates or blesses the bread and wine by repeating the words of Jesus from the Last Supper, "This is my body and this is my blood," a real inner change, a substantial change, takes place in the bread and wine, so that it's no longer just bread and wine, but it's really Jesus himself. The change has a fancy word which is sometimes used, transubstantiation. Now, the change in the bread and wine, when the bread and wine is changed, we give it different names to describe it. So, for example, we might say the Eucharist, or the Blessed Sacrament, or the Host, or the Bread of Life, or Holy Communion, and there are other words too. In the tabernacle in the church, we save some of the consecrated bread, the hosts, from Mass for two reasons. First of all, for personal prayer, so that we can pray to Jesus, the bread of life. And secondly, to save some hosts to take to the housebound and the sick in hospital, so that they can have communion. Now, when we go to Mass and receive Holy Communion, it's as if we're with Jesus and his disciples in the upper room at the Last Supper. It's as if we're with Jesus as he dies on the cross on Good Friday. It's as if we're with Jesus at his resurrection on Easter Sunday, and with Jesus enjoying the heavenly banquet, the big feast in heaven. In Holy Communion, Jesus fills us, that's you and me, his family of the church, fills us with his love and his life, so that we can be his love and bring his life to the world of today. Holy Communion gives us what we need to be truly missionary disciples. It's really amazing, it's fantastic, it's a wonderful gift. But look, what's happening? It's the coronavirus. The churches are shut and priests are celebrating Mass behind closed doors. On the one day that we should be receiving Holy Communion, we can't. And there are many children who would in normal circumstances at this time of the year, they'd be making their first Holy Communion. But they can't, and they have to wait until the churches are open again and we start celebrating Mass. But all is not lost. This is where I'm going to share with you this very special prayer. Now, did you know that even now, even though you cannot receive the sacrament of Holy Communion, the Eucharist, in a physical way at Mass, you can receive Jesus in a spiritual way. And you can do this any time you want. All you have to do is say this special prayer and really mean it in your heart to make a spiritual Holy Communion. And some of you might know this prayer already. It's a great way to prepare receiving sacramental, physical Holy Communion when we can go to Mass again. Now, some saints made a spiritual Holy Communion at different times during their day, in between going to Mass, so they could keep close to Jesus throughout the day, to be in communion with Jesus throughout the day. And you can do this too whenever you want. So why not write a prayer down? I printed a copy off here, which I can keep in my pocket. And you could do the same and keep it either in your pocket or in a special place so that you can take it out and pray it whenever you want during the day and grow more and more close to Jesus. There's really a very special saint which I recommend you to look up his story. His name is Blessed Carlo Acutis. Well, he's not quite blessed yet, but he soon will be once we're out of this crisis. Now, he was only 15 years old. He died in 2006, and he had a great devotion to the body of Christ in Holy Communion. In fact, he went to Mass every day, and he even dragged his mother along. He brought her back to Mass when she'd been away from Mass for a long time. And he made a fantastic website too before he died, which you can look up and find on the web pages. So please read his inspiring story. You'll find it on YouTube, and the details you can see on the screen. Now, the prayer. It's called an act of spiritual communion. Now, in these difficult times of the coronavirus, this prayer will help us realize that there's nothing to fear with Jesus deeply within us through this spiritual Holy Communion. So I'm going to pray the prayer now, and if you like, you're very welcome to pray the prayer with me. An act of spiritual communion. My Jesus, I believe that you are present in the most blessed sacrament. I love you above all things, and I desire to receive you into my soul. Since I cannot now receive you sacramentally, come at least spiritually into my heart. I embrace you as if you have already come, and I unite myself wholly to you. Never permit me to be separated from you. Amen. Well, thank you for watching, and there are going to be some websites now come up on the screen in case you need some help in making your own prayer card. Well, thank you, and God bless you.